Well, I hope you enjoy these random little bits of film what I'm putting together in a series called Tales from the Trail, which is a little bit of an insight into our adventures travelling overland all the way towards Turkey. This story starts back in Germany at the Arbenteuer allrad show. Mentioned it to people there that will come out to Turkey. A lot of people said, any work you need doing on the truck, I've done out in Turkey. So that got me thinking, and yeah, here we are today in Turkey, having work done on this vehicle, and this is where the story starts. Okay, we're here at the garage. I've just been explaining the GB and the UK. They weren't quite familiar with them both, but yeah, they understand the Great Britain on the number plate. So we're at a diesel garage, mainly dealing with trucks, and we're initially for the suspension, the rear suspension, but I have asked for them to check out an oil leak and also an air leak. Now, thankfully, the oil leak they found straight away, which were the diesel pipe coming from the main filter. Now, I replaced these probably about 2 years ago, and basically it just looked like the diesel pipe has got a slight crack in it. Now they've moved it, but yeah, the pipe comes off here and comes around to where the injectors are. You can see there's some diesel there, so they're replacing all the diesel pipe. I've not noticed any signs of a diesel leak, no smoke. I was just thinking it was an oil leak, but obviously the replacement diesel pipes just weren't up to maybe the pressure, I don't know. So that's one job out of the way. The air leak, we're going to investigate, and I'm going to get them to check just basically underneath and make sure that there's nothing else untoward. I've got a slight knock on the steering which came on after having a bush replaced at the front, so I'm going to ask them to check the steering over and make sure that's okay. But apart from that, so far things are good. Got the replacement fuel hose, so that's going on now, and I think the idea is we're going to put the cab back up and then I'm going to have a look for the air leak. I think sort of like some things get lost in translation, so So this is Mermet's part shop. This is just around the corner from the garage. what we've got here is all Mercedes parts. Now, I know I said this earlier, but how many garages in the UK would have a Mercedes part shop like this? Absolutely fantastic. So I'm going to put this guy down in the description. Yeah, so if you're looking for Mercedes parts and you're down this way, then check him out.
It's pointing down to the front. It's a great place, but otherwise we're just being like, you know, dragged into barbers, aren't we? And Kocasinan.
No matter what haircut you're having.
Yeah.
It's almost like we've been taken hostage and then given food. No word of English has yet been spoken apart from myself, and they're looking at the springs to kind of work out obviously cost and fitting, but yeah, they've given us lunch, so cool. So we've just had lunch with them. Really strange, really strange. Not used to that at all. But he can work out a price, so he's working out a price for the rear springs. He can also fit air suspension as well. So we're just waiting for a price coming back, and then obviously we're going to talk about if the price is okay when we're coming back. I mean, we've got several trucks in here, several bays. These guys don't muck around, so I think if we said the price is okay, it wouldn't surprise me if he says, you know, yeah, we'll do it now. But he did use the word he's got to make the springs. Now, I don't know whether that's right or not, but we're going to find out, aren't we? Well, I'm not quite sure whether we've come to a garage or a clown workshop. However, these guys are serious about the job, and they're funny with it as well. So not only have we been given food, they're replacing the rear springs on the camper, plus anything else what's needed, for around about £550. We've literally been here 10 minutes, and like I said, we've had food, and the rear of the camper is already being jacked up. They're doing it now. They're doing the springs now. So what an awesome place this is. Right, come on, let's check on them.
Ben buradan Şam'a geçecek gerek değil mi? Var mı gösterelim? Öyle.
So they're not hanging about. See? They're absolutely fantastic. Every
Sorry.
one of them.
Bunlar düşman onları çekme. Sen gel ben çekeyim oğlum. Kimse anlamıyor lan. Ne bakıyorsun düşmanlıkta?
Nobody speaks a word of English. However, with Google Translate, we've managed to sort of like get things sorted. But yeah, how cool is this? Not only that, just look how clean and tidy. This is the second garage in 2 hours, and just look how clean and tidy this place is. We've got new trucks, we've got, I mean, look at this thing. I think where's that been? I mean, That must have seen 3 world wars, that one. Yeah.
Mikrofon değil mi?
Yeah, you're fucking crazy, all lot of you. So it looks like they're leaving the 3 main springs on, taking off the heavy duty secondary springs, and then put one large one underneath. So not quite sure how this is going to work, but apparently it's the latest system what they're doing on these vehicles. So we shall see.
It's been a day.
Yeah, it has been a day, but a good one for YouTube. I'll just say thanks to these guys. Thank you. Fantastic job, these guys. Right. Yeah, once we get out of here, I'll explain what's basically happened today. Yeah, it's been one of those days. However, we've got quite a lot done, so it's good. Right, we'll catch you in a bit. Yeah.
At the roundabout, take the first exit to Arbenteuer.
Get out in central road, well. So yes, we drove back up here last night. I think we got back up here probably around about 8 o'clock, something like that. But you can't blame us for coming back up here. It's we've got the place to ourselves, and it's really nice. So the city what we visited yesterday is right down in the valley there. So it took us a good half an hour. In fact, it probably took us half an hour to get through the city, and then probably about 20 minutes, half an hour to actually get here. So a good hour's journey last night, but I'm sure you'll agree, it's worth it. Got all these ground squirrels as well. These are amazing. These are all over. Obviously, I've come out now and they've all sort of like hidden away, but yeah, loads of ground squirrels. One's just there. Look. In fact, there's two in front of the camera. They're running around. One there. One over here. Great little things, great to watch. Right, okay, we're going to spend another night here, and what I'm planning on doing today is I'm going to drop the cab forward. I'm going to check the fuel lines that they put on yesterday. Also, I've got an annoying little squeak at the front on the suspension or on a spring or something, so I'm going to drop the cab over, check the work they've done, just dry the engine off if need be, and try to oil this or try to locate this squeak. The springs, it was a really busy day yesterday, so I didn't actually end up with much time to film, but they've left the 3 original springs on, but what they've done, they've put a reinforcement spring on the underneath, so it has actually lifted the truck up by, at the back there, I'm going to say probably about 2.5 inch, maybe 3 inch. Obviously that will affect the overall light for the truck, which I'm going to have to check that once I get on level ground. But yes, yeah, it's certainly riding a lot better. Yeah, it's great, really, to be honest with you. Yeah, and we'll test it even more so once we start pushing on that a little bit further. Okay, right, time to crack on. Okay, the cab's tilted forward. I hope you can hear me all right, because there's quite a strong wind coming up the valley now. But the oil leak, what we had a look at yesterday, I was thinking, and I'm still not 100% sure whether it's been cured, were coming from sort of like this front area. Now obviously when they tilted the cab, they could quite clearly see there were actually diesel on some of these points here. Now this fuel line is the line that I replaced about 18 months ago, maybe 2 years ago. It had a crack in it, so I bought the fuel line actually from Alford. I think it's 8mm or something like that, the fuel line, so it should have been all right. But yeah, it had a slight crack just about here, or I think it may have been on this one. And when you press the lift pump, you could see diesel actually weeping out. So thankfully that was picked up sooner rather than later. Which sort of like, we changed the fuel filters before we left the UK. And ever since changing the fuel filter, there were the engine hesitated on starting up, as if like there were air in the system. Now I put it down to when we changed this top filter, there was actually 2 O-rings in there for some reason. Yeah, this one here, which I thought was a little bit odd, so I only put them back with 1, and ever since that, when we started the engine, it was just a little bit lumpy on the startup, like I say, like there were air in the system. So I'm wondering whether around about the same time this fuel line has got damaged, whether I've done it or what, I don't know. But anyway, that's sorted, so that's a good job out of the way. The air leak is coming, trying not to fall off here, from somewhere in that area, but it was so not noisy in the workshop, it was noisy around the area, and we just couldn't hear where the air leak were coming from, so that's being left. But yeah, I wanted to check that there were no excess diesel on here, which there isn't, so that's good. And like I said, somewhere I've got a squeak, so I'm just going to go around with the WD-40 now on some of the areas and some oil, and basically just try to eliminate this squeak at the front. We got the squeak a few weeks ago. We've been down quite a lot of dusty tracks. It was when the bike was covered in dust, and I think just the dust and the heat has just dried out some of the joints, and yeah, I've got a squeak, so WD-40 time, I think. Okay, I've gone around with the oil. Whether that's going to stop the squeaks, I don't know. But I mean, that's just been great fun, just watching the sheep and the goats go past. So many of them. Must be 600, something like that. Yeah. Right. Okay. I'm going to put the cab back now, and maybe just roll around underneath with the WD-40 and just see if I can see any squeaky possible areas there. Okay. Whilst I put these away, we'll talk money. Now, for the new fuel line hoses on the truck, ended up costing round about, I think about £54, I think it were. So very cheap. I think I just paid for the labour, and the fuel line came in, you know, free of charge. For the springs, or for the reinforcement spring, both sides, fitting, labour, total cost was around about £550, which, to say it was half a day's work, I don't think were too bad. Like I said, the springs seem to be working nicely, and yeah, I'm going to enjoy travelling around with the new springs. I can certainly tell you that. So yeah, in all, yesterday cost us around about just over £600, and what can I say? The service what we received were second to none, really. I mean, to visit 2 diesel fitters in one day and be in and out within what we can say a few hours were absolutely excellent. So I'm going to leave it there for this one. Thanks again for watching. So there I was, just about to wrap up. It's after 5 now in the evening, and we've got a beautiful view. Just going to put some jacket potatoes on the fire, and I thought, well, I'll clean up the wheels and the hubs. And I can say that I noticed this morning, but sometimes the penny doesn't drop. I'm busy doing other things. But if you look here, we've got oil weeping from here, and it's where they had the wooden chocks underneath the axles while they're doing the suspension. So I've just been in touch now with the garage, sent a load of photos, and I'm waiting for an answer. So there's a part 2 to this story coming along. Yeah, so what's happened here, the block of wood has flattened. You can see this end cap here, it's flattened this, slightly creased it in oil, it's broke the seal, and oil is weeping out. So we're going to have to go back to the garage probably tomorrow. I wanted to stay local for if anything happened like this, and obviously that's paid off. So yeah, it looks like we're gonna have to go to the garage tomorrow and get this sorted. Like I said, I'm just waiting for an answer coming through. Well, I guess it's beer o'clock and sit here and watch the view, I guess, and worry about that tomorrow when tomorrow comes. So we're back at the garage today. Mermet has very kindly offered to fix our problem, and you can see what's happened here. You can see how the cover plate has been squashed and the seal has been broken. So Mermet has got 2 new seals. He's straightening out the cover plate, and then they're going back on. So, you know, a big thank you to Mermet. So if you're ever in this area, you've got a Mercedes, you've got a problem, you want to check this guy out, I'll put the link down in the video, and obviously you'll find it as well on Instagram. Whilst we're here, I have another slight problem with the truck, and it's something what's been with me since leaving the UK very slightly, and that is I've got a slight not wobble, but the brakes at the front are slightly pulsing when we come into a stop, as if it was a brake disc. I'd say that the brake was slightly warped, but these are drums on this, so the drum is slightly distorted. So whilst we're here, we're going to nip over to another garage, and they're basically going to service our front brakes and just check the drum. They can put it on a machine and make sure that the drum is spinning true, because I seem to think it's spinning slightly off true. So yeah, we're going to have a look at that whilst we're here. That's the cover plates back on, and we've had the diff oil levels checked. That's all okay. So we're just going around to another garage now, where we're going to have a service on the front brakes. So we've just come around the corner to another garage, and I'll spin you around. And you can see this garage is actually full of just brake discs, brake drums, air suspension. Yeah, so I think he's got the testing here for the rolling road, so hopefully can get the brakes tested here and see which one is just slightly grabbing. What do we call it when it's slightly wonky? Yeah, wonky. See which brake is slightly wonky. So what do you think? Is it a fixer-upper? Right, okay, we've come to a different garage, still under the control of Mermet. We've paid around about £110 for a service on our brakes, on the front brakes that is. Now, they've taken the drums away to be skimmed. This will stop any irregularities in the drum, I'm guessing. So yeah, £110 for a service on the front brakes, which I think is spot on, really, isn't it? I mean, you can't complain at that. Yeah, so I didn't want to film in the garage, but yeah, that's what's happening. The wheels are going back on. All is good.